umaga, we are going to talk about Lifestyle 101, about neuroactivity and neuroprotection, the topics that I love the most. Alam nyo, healthy lang kayo, okay na ako. And one of my best and worst advocacies ay ang magpapahealthy ng mga tao. Some time ago, I didn't understand why God exiled me to Germany, and that was to study about the brain. I went there all alone by myself. I was the most beautiful Filipina in the place because I was the only one Filipina in the whole town. Hindi ko alam na God was preparing me in making myself healthy, beauty and brain, so that I could share something very, very special with you this morning. So, I studied my doctoral degree in developmental neurobiology. Pasensya na po, kung sinong hindi masyadong makapick up, I am just fan of brain cells. So, kung iba ay behavior ng tao, ako naman ay behavior ng brain cells. Okay. Yung laboratory na napuntahan ko ay nag-aaral tungkol sa mga responde ng brain cells kapag sineseparate sa nanay or tatay ang sanggol. And these are my professors. Ito ay electron microscope. So I had the chance to look at the brains 70,000 times bigger than its real image. I love microscopy. I love going into the details of some brain cells. In 1950s kasi, nagtataka itong mga scientists, bakit ang mga animals would like to spend time magutom basta meron silang mukhang nanay. So, this baby orangutan was discovered that it preferred a terry mother or terry cloth mother na walang gatas, bahala maggutom, basta may nanay na malambot, kaysa sa wire na nanay na may gatas. So, nagtataka mga scientists, bakit pipiliin ng isang sanggol ang nanay, bahala gutom, kaysa sa nanay na matigas, na may gatas, kasi hindi naman talaga yon ang nanay. Nagtataka rin sila, bakit yung unang makikita ng mga birds, kapag sila ay na-hatch, they would follow the very, very first person they see moving after hatching. Hindi nila alam yan. So you look at this. This is a Nobel laureate or Nobel Prize winner na nag-aral ng mga goose na sinusundan siya kasi siya yung unang nakita when they hatched from eggs. Ito naman, goose, sinusundan ng pato kasi nakita nila na siya yung pinakaunang gumalaw nung nag-hatch sila from the eggs. So, and scientists look at the behavior of animals that they lick their pups right after birth. Why? Because itong mga nanay, they imprint the attachment. They have their smell, their texture, even their nipples, so that hindi sila makakalimutan ng kanilang mga anak. And this is in the whole range of the animal kingdom. And that includes, of course, human beings. So, yung lab na napuntahan ko would like to measure ano ba ang ginagawa ng attachment versus separation. Doon sa brain cells, ay nako, ang ganda-ganda ng mga brain cells ninyo. Magaganda ng mga brain cells ng mga hayop, mga rats, ano? But because hindi naman tayo pwedeng mag-slice ng brain ng mga tao before or after we experimented on their brains, and so experts use what? Animal models, particularly the rats and the mice, because they are mammals. They have similarity with our brain. At ang ganda nila. Hindi tulad natin na nagrarambol na kapag gutom, kapag pagod, no? Nag-uunahan na. But you know, your brain cells are always elegant. They always stay in their strategic positions. They never get rattled. But when they are exposed to very, very bad stimuli like separation. Mind you, brethren, brothers and sisters, wala pong separation region in your brain. Kaya whether we like it or not, ang paghihiwalay ay masakit. Because you cannot find any region in the brain responsible for separation. Wala. Hindi carry ng brain. Kinukope na lang yan ng human brain particularly, but separation is never found in the brain. Divorce is a human invention. The God who made the brain did not put a region for divorce or separation. Pumapangit. So this is the picture of a beautiful cell with a complete soma or cell body kapag hindi na-separate sa nanay ang bata. Ito, watak-watak, sira-sira ang nucleus kapag na-separate ang nanay sa bata. Look at that. Very beautiful ang mga trimmings, ang mga edges and extensions. But when the baby is separated from the mom, then extensions are shrunk and the cell body lessens in the size. Studies show that rats have stronger neurons and they have better and longer extensions when the rats are exposed in an enriched environment. Merong mga laruan, merong mga kasama, pero pag nag-iisa, very poor ang kanyang mga neurons and mga other brain cells, indicating that an enriched environment is very important for the development of your brain. And you know what is the most enriched environment for a growing brain? Mother's company. Mother's company. Ito ang mukha ng brain cell, the astrocytes, when the rats are separated from the mom. So when separated only once, and then when it was reunited with the mother, nag-reverse back into the normal. Why? Because baby pa ang brain. It's able to revert back para mag-recover at umayos. But when the baby rats or the pups are constantly separated, then the brain is trying to cope, pero pag binalik na sa nanay, umiiksi na yung mga extensions. At ito ang suspetsa nung mga experts natin, bakit there is a problematic child when the child becomes an adult, simply because of the not very good exposure during early development. Pero ano ang ibig sabihin nito para sa atin? So what? Sabihin nyo, ano bang sinasabi ni Rowena? These cells happen to be located in the forehead, indicating that attachment is in where? In the forehead. Do you remember in the Revelation it says, and his name will be in their forehead. So the decision making that we have is due to our emotions. When we decide for Jesus, it is because he is in our forehead. So our forehead is not just responsible for the rational thinking, for the decision making, but these behaviors are due to the emotional or attachment aspect of the forehead. Gets niyo ba ako? When you're going to decide for Jesus one day, when you and I will see in heaven one day, it is because, what? I love him, you love him, and that's why you decide for him. Di ba yung mga nagpapakasal? Kaya nga nagpapakasal kasi na-in love. Oh, kami naman ni Ma'am Jade, hindi nakapagpakasal. Dahil hindi talaga siguro na-in love, or baka na-in love-in-laban lang. Peke na pagka-in love. If we are going to decide one day for Jesus, I learned from my study that attachment is in the forehead. And that if I'm going to decide for the person, if I'm going to decide for something, it could be lifestyle, anything. It's because it is something important, something so dear to me. So I hope na-gets natin ito. So, attachment is in the forehead. But the attachment, according to science, imprinting is not done by the child. It is done by sino? Mother. Blessed are you, mothers, because you depict the picture of God. In Isaiah 49:15, it says there, can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Oh yes, 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 Jesus says. Yes, they may forget. But what? I will not forget thee. Sinong nanay dito ngayon? Nag-gets ninyo ito. Kung gaano ang pagmamahal nyo sa inyong anak, 1,000 billion, eternal times ang pagmamahal ng Diyos sa inyo. So that, ang mga anak nyo nakasandal palagi sa pader yan. And if your children are able to do that, kayo din, nakasandal din sa pader. Why? Because God is saying, oh, tingnan nyo, I have engraved your safety upon the palms of my hands. Your security is always before me. What do you mean by always? Mga kapatid, there's nothing to fear. But the worst epidemic in the world today is fear and doubt. I'm going to show you just a little while. And the story doesn't end there. Jesus is saying, so shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. Kalma lang kayo, because it shall not return to me void. It shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I send it. Kanino pinadala yung mga salita? Kanino? Kanino nga? Mukhang alanganin kayo sumagot eh. Sa akin nga eh. Kaya, para sa akin nga, paulit-ulit ko ito. Sinasabi, sa akin nga. Why? Because Jesus has prophesied that fear will be the worst epidemic or pandemic in the universe. Hindi COVID-19, wala na nga eh. In Luke 21:34 and 35, let's read all together. Start. And there shall be signs, men's heart failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. Ay, hindi ko sinabi yan. Anong worst pandemic? Fear. And let's read. And they Take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts or your emotions be overcharged with cares of this life, so that they come upon you unawares. For as a snare, it will come on all. I am not exempted. And so, because of that, I need to be sober. Because of that, I need to be vigilant being sober. Alam niyo, sabi ni Tiger Woods, sabi niya ganon. Sabi niya, naging famous lang naman ako at walang makakatalo sa akin, sabi niya sa polo match. It is because I don't really think about the many things, the many goals and the many balls I need to shoot on the ball. No. I have to think of each goal, one ball at a time. So, my primary advocacy to myself is keeping my brain healthy. And that is to protect my brain cells, and that is to regenerate my brain cells creatively, but intentionally. Kaya nga sinasabing lifestyle. Today, takot tayo sa global warming. Because yan ang pinapauso ng mundo natin. But if you are reading the first book of the Bible, it has been promised to Noah in Genesis 8 that for as long as there is this earth being established by God, there will always be summer and winter and springtime and harvest. So, there is what you call global warming. Hindi naman tinawag na global freezing. But when it's cold, it's very cold. When it's hot, it's very hot. But then, climate remains the same. This time is summer, maya-maya fall, maya-maya winter, and then spring comes again. So there is this injection of fear in the minds of people. Why? Because they're saying that climate change is the responsible thing for what? For the human health problems. Today, maraming problema. Sa Pinoy, mataas pa rin ang heart attack or cardiovascular diseases, particularly in males. 500,000 or more men die every year. Cancer, 100,000 die every year. But it could be that these deadly diseases really don't come from the global warming. Kung mainit, inom ka lang. But could it be that my disease, kapag meron, wala pa, normal pa mga values ko? Could it be that these problems come from unintentional neglect ng ating mga healthy lifestyle? I'm very particular about neuroprotection and neuro regeneration simply because we need to think soberly and vigilantly. If the brain cells are not good, we would easily fear and doubt what does God is telling us. It's very interesting to know that for your encouragement today, hindi lahat big time. Kayo naman ay mahilig kayo dun sa mga, kung sino ilang mga attachments na mga letra after the name. But you know, si Jesus hindi. In 1 Corinthians 1:27, tayo mahilig sa mga sikat, mahilig sa mga magagaling, mahilig sa mga matatalino, mahilig sa mga mahal na ospital, mahilig sa mga mahal na bags, because status ko. But you know, God is different. Let's read 1 Corinthians 1:27. Start. But God chose the foolish things of this world to confound the wise, or reveal the ignorance. And God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the mighty. What do you see? What do you see in the picture? O, inapang-apakan nyo lang nga yan eh. Kung wari lang kayo, kumakain kayo niyan pag nagkasakit na kayo. I learned how to eat this food myself. Hindi ako tinuruan ng nanay ko, lalo na ng lola ko. Ang kilala ko lang ng prutas at dahon noon ay dahon ng kamote. Hindi na. But I taught myself to eat this food when I learned that God has hidden all the phytochemicals in this world. Where? In plants. Inaapak-apakan lang ito sa tindahan. Hindi niyo pinapansin. We have this mentality na kapag mahal, nakakapagaling. Diba? Ayaw niyo ng mga generic na mga paracetamol. Gusto niyo talagang may label. Why? Kasi pag cheap, ibig sabihin mukhang, ay wala itong gana. O hindi wala. And also, thieves. Walang kwenta kasi pagkain ng pobre yan. And I had that mentality for a long, long time until I turned 19 years old. And there I had a life-changing experience. I encountered the book, I read the book, and then now I am teaching that book. And it's all about plant-based diet, a healthy lifestyle. So, walang kwenta. But there's a man in Laguna. He sold all his fortune in Japan and went to the Philippines and planted 12 hectares wide of malunggay. And so if you're going to visit, the place, you will see that you don't see anything around the area but malunggay. And so, sabi ko, malupit itong taon to sabi ko gano'n. Anong nakain nito? What insanity does this person has? But why? Because wala naman siyang alam. Bakit malunggay? Wala namang kwentang malunggay, di ba? So, I spoke to him one day. And he had this experience. Sabi niya nagkaroon siya ng cancer. I have no time left. Konti na lang. So, kapag you want to know the story, then you can talk to me personally later. So, he recovered. Terminal cancer. And sabi niya ganon, when I recovered, I don't want any operation. I just ate malunggay seed. When I recovered, I sold all my fortune and businesses in Japan, and kasi walang lupa doon, and went to the Philippines because my wife is a Filipina and got a place here in Laguna and planted malunggay because I want others to be healed as well from their diseases. And so, when you look at this, wala naman talagang kwenta. Pinapabayaan nyo lang mga malunggay sa probinsya, di ba? Pero binibili namin to. Ang mga seeds, mahal yan. Gold ang malunggay seed. You don't have to read everything in this results, mga scientific baliw sa malunggay. Why? Because the composition of malunggay is just so rich in all nutrients that you can name on this planet. And so when I went home, sabi ko, ano nga ba yung tao yan? Si Matsuka. Bakit malunggay seed? And I went into the scientific papers. Ay, hindi lang pala malunggay seed, but all parts of malunggay. Pag-uwi nyo ngayon, magpasa rin kayo. Wala tayong time, isa-isa nito. But then, for some, there are potential inhibitors for viruses. There are potential protective effect. Meron ang malunggay. God has packed all the phytochemicals He could ever pack in malunggay. You don't need to know all the names like this. Para sa mga scientifico lang yan. Ang gagawin niyo na lang, kumain na lang kayo ng malunggay. Seed man yan. Oo, because this is not a scientific congregation. But I'm just showing this to you to tell you that God has packed all the nutrients in plants, particularly malunggay, na hindi nyo pinapansin and not on meat. That's why ang mga baka natin, ang mga karabaw natin ay mga healthy because they follow the health message of Adventists. So, there are inhibitors of viruses, bacteria, fungus, any disease, name it, cancer, in malunggay. And that's why, maniwala man kayo o hindi, ako, patron talaga ako ng malunggay. Forever young. When you take malunggay, seed, extract, anything, we don't have time, to show you people that has been blessed by this malunggay. You could experiment it yourself. So I'm a patron of malunggay. If you want to experiment it and know what can it do to you, try it. And you will love it forever and ever till Jesus comes. So ako, I eat seeds of malunggay. I boil malunggay. I put malunggay on bread, even in my canton or pancit, and even in my soup. I put malunggay in my patty. I drink it as a hot drink, tea, and so you try it, and then you report to us what did it do to you. So very simple. You could dry your malunggay, put it in the nut bag, and then grind it or crumble it, and then be inventive in making it a part of your life. Gagarantiya ko sa inyo, lalakas kayo. So, a friend, Rosalie Taclan, has a dryer. And marami ng mga government na mga establishments ang kumuha nito. And the ADRA also in Iloilo bought from her, and now they are drying all range of leaves and fruits for their health ministry. There are some people I would like to show you, some friends that they have testimony on malunggay. Ay wala akong time, isa-isahin sila. But the idea is all kinds. Ooperahan ang tatay, tumatawag sa akin, umiiyak, hindi maopera, hindi maputol-putol yung tinae kasi mataas yung BP. Sabi ko, i-ano mo ng malunggay, pero pagka maingat sa kanyang medical doctor kasi hindi papayag yan. And so after 3 days, instead na operahan siya, nakita ng doktor na gumaling, hindi na siya na-opera at nakatae na siya ng maayos. So there are many instances that malunggay has helped them. I have no personal testimony on malunggay because I never got sick. So, but my mom has a testimony. So 4 years before my mom died of meningioma. Yung mga bukol ninyo sa ulo, galing yan sa baba. My mom died of liver cancer, but 4 years before she died, merong nakitang bukol sa kanyang ulo, tinangay ng kanyang blood circulation to the brain, and it developed into a meningioma. It is a tumor in the meningitis or in the coverings of the brain. When I heard about it, I went home. O mga nanay, huwag niyong paalisin yung mga anak niyo sa tabi niyo kasi mahirapan sila umuwi kapag malayo sila. And when I went home, binasa ko yung laboratory results ng nanay ko at ang sinabi, alanganin, mukhang magka-sepsis na. So we're just waiting for her to die. No. So I experimented. And so alam niyo mga nanay, ayaw maturuan kung minsan yan eh. So I said, Nay, magpuasa tayo. Iinom tayo dalawa ng malunggay. I had to join her kasi mamaya sabihin niya ginugutom ko siya. So we took water and malunggay the entire day. Hindi kayo gugutumin kapag kumakain kayong malunggay. And what happened, or umiinom kayo ng malunggay. So what happened is that the next laboratory results, we were expecting that she would stay in the hospital for 3 weeks at least due to the bad results. But after 3 days, my mom went out of the hospital. Sabi ng doktor, sinabi ko na nga ba effective yung aking gamot without telling him that I had my own experiment. Why? Simply because I learned it from my own experiments in the lab that malunggay is very, very effective in all range of diseases. Moringa is highest in fatty acids, oxidants. It has an oil equivalent to olive oil, oleic acid, and that's very anti-inflammatory. So I studied long, in Diliman as a researcher, and I love working on cells. And I love looking at cancer cells, especially when they are treated with local plant extracts because we're trying to develop local source for chemotherapeutic agents. At alam nyo, mga kapatid, kapag hinulugan nyo ang iba't ibang klase ng kanser sa lab, breast cancer man yan, lung cancer man yan, at ibang klaseng lung cancers, and then or skin cancer man yan, or bone cancer man yan. The higher the malunggay extract goes, nawawala ang cancer. So dark colored cells here are the cancer cells. Kapag dumadami ang nilagay niyong malunggay extract, nawawala. So when you take malunggay, lahat ng sakit niyo matanggal. But hindi yun ang in-apply ko sa nanay ko. I learned that malunggay strengthens growing neurons. So here, if you see, rambol ang nasa left side ng mga neurons, but on the right side, the neurons are robust. They are growing. Why? Because moringa strengthens growing neurons. On the left side, walang moringa. On the right side, you see that cells are extending their processes, indicating that cells are active, hindi bubbles, mabilis ang pick up. Why? Because neurons are branching extensively. Simply because moringa has proteins for the growth of neurons. So here, looking at the control or untreated, walang mga branches masyado, but in the cells treated, in the brain cells treated with moringa, they see extensions. So look at here, they see neurite extending. The growing neuron is extending its processes, indicating that moringa is very good for regeneration. But more than that, moringa is better than your orange. I'm not telling you to replace your orange with moringa. I am telling you to supplement yourself with moringa while eating all these fruits. Okay? So it has better supply of vitamin A than carrot. It has more potassium than bananas, calcium than milk, and more protein than egg. So there's no reason for you not to patronize moringa, right? Again, this one, pili lang kayo, calcium, potassium, magnesium, vitamin B complex, all the way from B1 through B12, or no, B9. Okay. You don't need B12 because your stomach is making B12, but it's enough for the body supply. Malansa naman ang itlog eh. I'm not discouraging you. Pero nalalansan ako ng itlog at maraming salmonella. Nakita ko under the microscope. So, bad na siya from me. Break na kami. So, indicating that moringa, prevents Alzheimer's disease. This is the picture of your brain when it's full of axons or white matter, the extensions coming all the way from the edges of your brain, the gray matter, where your neurons are lying. Kapag kalong-kalong na, wala nang mga connections. So, ibig sabihin, hindi nakakapag-communicate yung mga neurons kasi butas na. Kaya sinasabi, bangag ito. Why? Because the brain is empty, full of holes, and that's the picture of a brain with dementia. But moringa leaves regenerate neurons in the hippocampus or in the memory region. And if you're going to look at this, there are the bars are the rats with what? With Alzheimer's. And if treated with moringa, there is an increase in all concentrations. In all concentrations. There is an increase in all concentrations. They checked whether moringa is very good for the enhancement of memory and it retains learning. Yes. Yung mga rats treated with moringa, nakakakita, naalalaman nila kung saan hanapin yung platform in the, what's this? In the a drum of milk. Pero yung hindi na-treat ng moringa ng mga rats, hindi na-train where to find the platform underneath the milk pool. So, indicating that moringa is very good for memory. But what happens when they move the platform in another place? Yung mga hindi na-treat ng moringa, ikot pa rin, ikot ng ikot, ikot ng ikot, pero yung mga na-treat ng moringa, balik pa rin doon sa original place where the platform was placed by the experts, indicating that na-retain sa memory nila na doon ngayon, indicating that moringa retains memory. Okay. But it doesn't end there. Sa mga plants, pinadala ito sa akin ng mga taga-AUP during the time when there was this ash fall. From afar, nakita ninyo mga niyog, ibang kahoy, at mga saging. Wala na. Brown na sa ash fall. But the moringa, it remains standing in the ash fall bearings. Mukhang ginaganon-ganon lang ng moringa yung ash fall and then tatayo ulit. And if the moringa can do this, because the life components and the nutrients that make it so is within it, you will do the same when you partake moringa. But the story doesn't end there. You got to rehydrate yourself if you want to protect your brain cells, because your brain cells excitation is equivalent to the flash of the lightning. Kaya sumasakit ang ulo, nagmamigraine, nagkaroon ng vertigo. Dehydration is the number one cause. Ngayon, kapag tamad kayo uminom, ay di kumain na lang kayo ng prutas. Why? Because fruits have 92 to 98% water. So you won't dehydrate kapag palakain kayo ng kulay. Meron ba kayong kidney problem, may liver problem ba kayo, may heart problem ba kayo, baka kulang lang ng tubig. So, in my place, when you go to my place, you've got to eat, hindi isa-isang saging. You've got to eat one plate full of what? of fruits because studies show that you need at least 700 grams of fruits every day in order to stay on top of your game. Do you want to remain on top of your game, forever young and forever kitty-kitty, you've got to eat fruits 700 grams or 7 servings to 1 kilogram of fruits every day. Either one fruit or variety. So in my place, I would stock, fruits and I would finish it. So kung sino makapunta will be blessed. In the brain, you have what you call aquaporins, channels of water. Just as God has placed, this planet, rivers to water this planet, in our brain there are also called protein channels, aquaporin. These aquaporins are the channels na would let the water in and out of your brain cells so that you won't get sick, you won't have fever, you won't get inflammation due to dehydration. But today in the Philippines, there is an epidemic of dehydration. Ngayon, ang kidney failure is not just due to, pagkakakain ng mga, o pag-iinom ng soft drinks. Lahat ng mga sakit, merong equivalent na problema sa kidney. Whether you like it or not, everyone is dehydrated. Most of old people, 1/3 of adults, 2/3 of children and teenagers, and more men than women. So, could it be na yung mga sakit natin is just due to the lack of water drinking? Malaman nyo kapag kulang kayo ng tubig, pag umihi kayo na yellow. That's the index. Pag yellow ang ihi, kulang tubig. So, the trick is, dagdagan ng tubig. When you water your kidney, intentionally, you water your brain too. So, there is no dehydration. Today, I hope we have water everywhere kasi mukhang wala akong nakita. I think we need water supply in order for us to stay sane until the end of this day. So, water, one of the most obedient na mga animals ay elephants. They keep the healthy lifestyle of Adventists. They eat plants, they just eat leaves, and they drink a lot of water every day. So, elephants are Adventists. The prescription of God did not change, has not changed. Ang sabi doon, you will eat the herb of the field and the seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth. That's your food. And that's why I follow it. And today, science experts would tell you that yes, it's really true. If you want not to have Alzheimer's or early onset of aging, just eat a lot of veggies and vegetables. Walang pagbabago kahit ano pang ulit-ulit natin ang ating health ministry. Unless you go into plant-based, wala tayong magawa. There's no other way. God has no plan B, just plan A. So, eating more fruits, 5 a day, mix of 2 fruits and 3 vegetable servings. It's good for you. Hindi mo na kailangan alamin, just eat fruits. Yung pambili nyo ng pang-chemotherapy ninyo later, ibili nyo na ng fruits and vegetables ngayon. Ibili nyo na ng nuts. So, instead of me spending 40,000 per chemo session or 250,000 in an operation, ibili ko na ng mga nuts, ibili ko na ng fruits, at ibili ko na ng vegetables. In Deuteronomy 15:26, we read it all together. If you listen carefully to the voice of the Lord your God and do do what is right in His eyes, if you pay attention to His commands and keep all His decrees, I will not bring to you any of these diseases I brought on thy judgments, for I am the Lord who heals you. The reason for this, hindi gabak or hindi merese, but God has put all the chemicals for life only in plants. Good morning, everyone.